Hello everybody, this is ASMR with a new video and new nails done green, white, and gold with an abstract effect for St. Patrick's Day. And in case any of you are wondering, yes, my toes are also done green. And I did indeed do both. I don't just do one toe. See? So it's a full set. Even the little ones. So I hope everybody is well and trying to stay calm amid the panic of the coronavirus. As long as everybody is healthy, that's all that matters. So far, I am doing well, I'm healthy, and I actually have a little bit of extra time, so I wanted to make you this video tonight. And this is going to be a Witch of the Woods roleplay with some eye exam elements, of course. So I hope you enjoy and keep watching. Hello, dear. How are you feeling? Thank you for coming to see me today. I heard about what happened to you. You got conked on the head with a boulder. That must have been very painful. Yeah, I know. Orcs have really bad tempers. Well, I know that it's horrible to happen to anybody, but at least, you being a troll and everything, you were at least, big and strong enough to have walked away from that with minor injuries. Had such a thing happen to a fairy or, one of the pixies, oh my heavens, that would have ended very badly indeed. So thank you for coming to see me today, and I am happy to just make sure that you're feeling all right, because I know you said when you had that conk on the head, it gave you vertigo for a couple of days, which is very understandable. But I hope my potion worked, and I wanted just to show you these. Aren't they beautiful? This is the new Leprechaun Gold that just got issued. It literally just came out, just got issued. So, firstly, can you tell me how many coins do you see? My wand here to help us count. 1, 2, 3. Very good. And can you see how many leaves are on the coin? Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there's a stem here. Very good. And on the back, it says 4-leaf clover for good luck. So these were just issued by the Leprechaun Bank, and they're gorgeous. Just wanted to show you that before we get down to business. They make a nice sound. So I really appreciate you coming in today so we can discuss the color themes for this party that's coming up. I'm sure you heard all about what happened to... I'm sure you heard all about what happened to Seamus, right? The head leprechaun. Yeah, I know, it was shocking, wasn't it? Well, he's just had a really bad run of luck. He's never been lucky. Even though he's a leprechaun, he's incredibly unlucky. The guy is just a magnet for every kind of problem. You honestly wouldn't believe how many times he's come to see me over some sort of an issue. And I'm telling you, it got so much worse when his wife, Molly, left him for a shorter leprechaun. That just sent him into a complete downward spiral. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and then, he got audited. All the king's men are basically chasing him around with an audit, because they're saying that the gold from his pots of gold aren't actually real gold. They're saying that they're not dragon's gold. They're saying that he counterfeited it with a spell that he got from the witches of the swamps. Like, I mean, I only found out about that because they came to question me. And I'm a witch of the woods. I am not a witch of the swamps. And they should know that I don't do any kind of, like, dark magic. So I was kind of offended because, you know, the king's horses and king's men come to me for help. Like, especially that after that whole Humpty Dumpty fiasco, I was the one that had to give them or create the lotion to put him back together. Or, like, it was kind of a cream/glue potion. If it wasn't for me, they wouldn't have put him back together. And he would have sued them because you know Humpty Dumpty's temper. But yeah, so that's the latest thing with Seamus. Now he's being sued, being audited. They said that he counterfeited the gold. It's very unfortunate. Yeah, so the king's men are dealing with that now. And they're exhausted, you know, after the whole Humpty Dumpty thing. But you know, the Rat King is very difficult to deal with. You know, if it's not, you know, some sort of crisis with the people in the community, you know, he just sends his men out to get cheese. He can never have enough cheese. He's completely addicted. It's terrible. But anyway, we can't keep gossiping. We have to go through all of these color schemes now because we have to make sure that everything is going to be perfectly presentable for the big gala. You know, we are going to go ahead and go through with the spring gala. I know that things have been a little bit crazy recently, you know, especially because of this whole media thing surrounding the whole leprechaun scandal. But for the spring, I think what we need to do is have a really nice mix of colors, because it's obviously, you know, the time of rebirth and regrowth. However, I definitely wanted to keep some dark hues in too, like brown and black, because brown and black are colors that can represent positive things. Like, you know, black can represent the nighttime and how many things are nocturnal and beautiful, like stars on the moon and a lot of the little creatures of the forest that come out of night, who I adore, like the raccoons. And then here, the brown, obviously, you know, the brown on the tree trunks and even the mud by the river, that can be really nice for your skin when you put that on. So I just thought we would go through this. And at the same time, I just want to check just to make sure that your vision is still okay, because I know, you know, again, they're Congo led. So what color is this here? What hue do you see primarily? Blue, excellent. And this one? Purple, yep. This one? Black, yes. And this one? Green, yellow, yep. This pink, this orange, very good. This red, yep. And this brown, excellent. So I think we should incorporate some of these colors in. So I guess the first thing that we can discuss is the way that you want to prepare the flower arrangements. So in the middle of the room, you know, in the gala, we're going to have these really big vases. So which colors do you think look the nicest together? The pink and the purple, I agree, they look really good together. And you know, I think we can throw some red in there and it would be really, really nice. And then I also think that the yellow and the orange and the red look nice together. Like, you see, red, orange, yellow look really good together. And then red, pink, purple look really good together. So maybe we could have maybe 6 vases, and in 3 vases you have the red, the orange, and the yellow. And then in 3 other vases you have the purple and the pink. And I think we can use a little bit of all shades. However, there should be a dominant shade. So we should go over that. Let's just move this aside. So, of these shades of yellow, 1, 2, 3, 4. Which do you perceive as being the lightest? This one, very good. And which one do you perceive as being the darkest? That one, very good. Now for the purposes of the flowers, which one do you think would be the best one to use? Our options are Rise and Shine, Upbeat, Buzzin', and Unmellow Yellow. I like Buzzin' too. I think that this would be a really nice one to use. Okay, now let's look for the art. Oh, by the way, never, ever, ever show Seamus this or Molly or any of the other leprechauns. They do not react well to the color orange. Like, oh my god, it's like waving a red flag in front of a bull. They just get so angry. And that reminds me. Did you hear the whole story about what happened? Part of the reason that Seamus got in so much trouble and got thrown into the Dragon's Lair gulag, the one right by Dragon Mountain, the reason he's in that one, that maximum security prison, is because after he gets audited, after Molly leaves him for the shorter leprechaun, after all of this, he gets into a fight outside of Leprechaun's lounge with Cupid. Oh yeah. So, do you remember last Valentine's Day, Cupid was giving out these really cute trinkets to his friends? He's so sweet. He was only giving one to everybody, but he gave two to me because, you know, I help him a lot with some of his love potions sometimes, or sometimes the ill effects of them. Because you know how it is with Cupid. He parties hard. He partakes in a lot of wineberry alcohol, and oh my god, you know, then sometimes he makes some pretty poor decisions, poor matches, and I can't come in and kind of help him. So Seamus went to see Cupid because he was trying to see if Cupid could get Molly back for him. And Cupid handed him one of these rings and basically said to him, oh, give this to her because this is, you know, quality gems. These are dwarf gems, the dwarf mine gems and dwarf cut. I mean, these are really high end. But the thing was that Seamus was in such a blind rage that Cupid actually gave him this one. And it's red, but for some reason in his mind he thought it was orange. I guess it kind of does look like the dark orange. And that just completely set him off. And like, he started yelling at Cupid, and you know, God knows that's gonna set Cupid's temper off, because Cupid goes nuts. When he goes off, he goes off. And the two of them got into such a bad fight, and it was absolutely unbelievable. They haven't seen anything that out of control and that crazy since the old lady who lived in the shoe hosted that Halloween party. I mean, it was that crazy. It was honestly that crazy. So the king's men had to come, and they had to break them up, and then Seamus got thrown in the brig, and you know, they're going out now. St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow, and nobody knows, you know, who is going to handle the festivities there, because you know, Molly wanted nothing to do with it. But just such a mess. But it all started over that. So yeah, so that whole fiasco about him fighting with Cupid, totally real. Totally true. So anyway, back to the task at hand. Look at these colors of orange. Do you see the difference between this shade and this shade? Which one is darker? This one, yeah. And is this shade darker or lighter than this one? It's darker. So we have 4 again. Here we have Dainty Apricot, Fuzzy Peach, Bergamot Orange, and Construction Zone. Now, considering that we're going to be using Buzz In for the flowers and the yellow, which orange do you think we should pair with it? We could pair it with Dainty Apricot, or Fuzzy Peach, or Bergamot Orange, or Construction Zone. I really am torn because I like both of these colors with it. Like, according to the cards, this one is the best match for this. But I feel like we could get away with the darker orange with the lighter yellow. Yeah, I feel like we could get away with Construction Zone on this. Yeah, so let's just put these aside now. Now, here's the red one. So, let's just say for argument's sake that we're going to use this yellow and this orange. Let's put them aside here. Let's put the red in between them and try to figure out which shade. So firstly, how many shades in the red do you see? 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Can you see a difference between this shade and this shade? Hardly at all, right? It's so minor. This one's a tad bit darker. So this one up here is really more of a pink, isn't it? This one's called Hot Gossip. This one's called Kiss and Tell. This one's called Whiplash. And this one's called Flirt Alert. So if we are going to use Construction Zone and Buzzin' for the yellow and the orange, what one should we use for the red to complete the bouquet? I think the dark too. Like, I really like this color scheme here. This one, 2, 3. Because I feel like the two darker colors on the red and the orange really make the yellow just pop out all the more. Okay, so that's what we'll do for 3 of the 6 bouquets. We'll just kind of arrange them, and I'll get the fairies to pick out the flowers. No, I probably won't ask Magdala this time because, I mean, she's another one that when she gets into the honeysuckle juice, you know, it just turns into a mess. Like, do you remember the time that we asked her to help us pick out a pine tree for the winter festival? Do you remember that? And instead of a pine tree, she got so hammered that she couldn't tell the difference in plants. I mean, she basically just saw like the plant was green, so I mean, therefore it must be a pine tree. And it wasn't a pine tree, it was actually a Venus flytrap. Do you remember that? Oh my goodness, that was crazy. I mean, the thing attacked the king of the elves. I mean, it was vicious. It was absolutely vicious. I mean, if it wasn't for my wand, I seriously, if this wand didn't have such a good shot on it, I honestly don't know what we would have done. But yeah, I mean, he was, oh good God, he was in the hospital for weeks. I mean, but there you go. So I'm not going to ask her. I'll just ask one of the other fairies, though, and we'll get somebody who's very competent. Or competent, I should say. Now, so now we'll go, oh, I need the red. So, red is going to be the theme color, even though it's not really a classic spring color. You know, again, the Rat King loves red, and, you know, he kind of rules the roost here, so I think, like, this is good for him. Yeah. Well, we are going to invite the Wizard of Oz too, but you know, he's kind of a charlatan, so I know he's gonna want green over red, but honestly, I can't worry about that right now. You know, he's a guest here, so he can deal with the red. So we're gonna make the red the main color, just to keep the... So the Rat King's red would probably be this one, so we'll just keep this the same as those. And then what we'll do here is that we will compare the pink and the purple. So we want to have on the other 3 vases pink and purple. So first, like, can you see how many colors, how many shades of pink there are on this card? 1, 2, 3. And which one's the darkest? And which one's the lightest? Yes, this is the middle one. So we have Blowing Kisses, Energetic Pink, and Pink Way. So which one's your favorite? I kind of like this one too. It's like a nice deep blush. This one looks almost white. It's so light. Yeah. And we will have little baby's breath sticking out of on the vases, so you'll get that, you know, the little tad of white anyway. This one reminds me of the Easter Bunny's ears. Yeah, we'll be planning his party around the same time too. He's tremendous fun. He's a sweetheart. He really is. As long as you do not touch his eggs when they're drying, he's fine. He's really cool. But if you mess them up, they take him so long, he goes crazy. So, if we're going to be using this color red, which pink do you think we should pair with that red? I kind of agree. You know, this is probably my favorite color, pink, but I feel like this one might be a little bit more gentle and lighter. But then again, this one does give more color, so maybe we will go with this one. Just between these two with this. Well, let's let the purple tie it in. So, how many shades of purple do you see here? 4, yep. And is this one lighter or darker than this one? It's darker, yeah. Very good. And is this one darker or lighter than this one? Darker. Excellent. So the colors we have are Lover's Knot, Heart Potion, Chakra, and Sultana. So we're going to use, let's just say for argument's sake, the darker pink, and the dark red is a definite. What do you think is the best purple to pair with those two? The top one, the middle one, the second to last one, or the very last one? Yeah, I kind of feel this one does give a better payoff, color payoff too. So I think we're going to go with Flirt Alert, Chakra, and Pink Way for the one set. And then for the other set, we'll go with Flirt Alert, Construction Zone, and Buzz In. So this will be one set, this will be the other set. Alright, that was good to sort out. Now, I think for the floor, we have to consider a green. Now, this is something that will indeed please the Wizard of Oz, because even though the flowers won't have any, well, the flowers have green stems, so how much can the guy possibly complain, right? But for the floor, I thought it would be nice to have like a green lush carpeting on the floor, just to symbolize the enchanted flourish, which is my realm. And you know, some of the witches from the swamps will really enjoy this too. They like green. We know their skin is green, and they're very proud of that. And I think that they will enjoy the fact. I mean, they probably won't be too happy that like it's on the floor and we're walking on the floor, but you know, I'm sure they'll get over it. But yeah, so I think we need to pick a nice color for the floor. So just to check your eyes again, how many colors do you see here? How many shades? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have Good Luck, Winter Shamrock, Clover Patch, and Paradise of Greenery. So which one do you think would be best for the floor? You know, I feel the same way. I really like this dark green, but this might be a little bit more of a bright, cheerful color. But then again, you know, people are going to be walking all over the floor. Maybe we're better off going with the darker color. It might be better to have like a darker carpeting. Although, I do like the way that this kind of adds a little pop. I wonder if we could get a mix of this color and this color in a carpet format. You know, and it's really hard to tell because like the green on these don't really do it justice because this is like a piece of paper. You know, obviously when the dye is put into a carpet, it looks a little different. But yeah, I think we'll go between these two for now. And then we have to think about the ceiling. I was thinking of painting the ceiling blue. I was thinking about doing an interesting effect where we paint the ceiling blue, and then I can do a cloud potion, or cloud spell I should say rather, where I can basically use my wand to create puffy clouds to put into the sky, which is really the inside of the gala hall. We're probably going to be doing this at the Ice Palace, which is actually a lot of fun because it's a spring event, and when you go inside, everything's all like flowers and like a green floor and a beautiful blue sky. And that like beautiful blue sky inside the castle, and everything just kind of belies the outside of it, because you know the ice castle is in a very like snowy area. So I just think it would be really cool to have like a spring theme inside of the ice castle. Oh yeah, and the Ice Queen is totally for it. I mean, she's got a reputation as being really cold and icy, but when you get to know her, she's a lot of fun. She's tremendous fun. You know, Oh yeah, I think, you know, she's very involved in Yeti rights. She's very close to the Yetis. Yeah, she likes them a lot. She's had some issues with the genies, you know. I think it's just because she kind of expected the genies to follow orders right outside the lamps. Yeah, and they can be obviously really kind of difficult. She's also got a reputation because she's had issues with the mermaids, because, you know, mermaids are really sensitive to being called like maids, because people say like mermaids, so they expect them to be like maids of the sea, and you know that completely sets the mermaids off. So I think one time when she was vacationing in Atlantis, she made the mistake of asking a mermaid to either fetch her a glass of ice, or ask them like where she could find cold currents, and they just like flipped out on that, like saying you're not, you know, we're not servants, and you know, one of those silly little fights. But the ice queen, for the most part, is really cool, and it was nice of her to offer her castle for this event. So I just think it's so cool on like this snowy landscape, and that, you know, that beautiful, like glistening ice white castle with like the sky up there is really sort of like a really light blue, or like almost a grayish or whitish even, to have like the green carpeting and like the blue, the enchanted blue ceiling and the flowers. I think it'd be cool contrast. So anyway, to do the blue ceiling, we have 4 shades of blue, and we have cornflower, boathouse, mega blue, and flashy sapphire. So which of these do you think for the ceiling? To be honest, like, this is like one of my favorite colors, but I just know for a fact that we just cannot have this. Like, I don't want it to be so dark, you know what I mean? Because it's supposed to like resemble a spring day. I wish we had some lighter colors, but I think this blue might be the best one to use for the ceiling, especially because I'm gonna have puppy white clouds. So we could have like this or this on the floor, and then this on the ceiling. That'd be really nice. I agree. So okay, so we're working through this. Oh, I have no idea how the Sandman is gonna take it going up to the ice castle. That's one thing I really haven't thought about too much. I mean, but honestly, I'm just a consultant on this. You know, if some people don't want to show up, I can't control what all the guests do. You know, you can't force them to come. But the Sandman, yeah, I mean, he doesn't like the cold. You know what it is? He doesn't like the cold, and then he argues with Jack Frost. And of course, if you argue with Jack Frost, then that's gonna set the Ice Queen off, because those two have like the most dysfunctional relationship. You know, they constantly claim that they don't like each other, they can't stand each other, but everybody knows that they're lovers. Everybody knows it. Behind the scenes, I'm telling you, they cannot. I'm surprised they haven't melted that castle down, because they absolutely cannot keep their hands off one another. And everybody knows it, but they bicker and they argue and they pretend not to like each other, but then they secretly adore each other. It's like, it's so strange that they just cannot leave each other alone. It's unreal. But you know what's really weird? Like the Ice Queen, like she'll complain about Jack Frost and everything, but I'm telling you, if you say one thing against him, she freaks out. Like, she even yelled at Old Man Winter about it. You know, and of course he's deaf, so thank God he didn't, you know, hear what she was saying. No, he's not death as in like taking life away. That's the Grim Reaper, and Grim's another one that's tremendous fun. He doesn't come up from the Underworld too much, but when he does, he's a lot of fun. He has a bad reputation, like, you know, for being, you know, obviously death, but he actually is like one of the like most full of life guys you're ever gonna meet. I really hope he attends the spring party. I mean, unfortunately, when a lot of people see him, you know, they run away, and he has to stay away from the flowers, because, you know, if he passes the flowers, they all wilt and die. It's not really his fault, it's just the effect he has, but he's a lot of fun. He's tremendous fun. Yeah, but anyway, Old Man Winter is deaf, as in like he can't hear. So, when he said something about Jack Frost one day, he said something to him along, I forget, it was something over like ice. He didn't like the way that Jack Frost was laying the ice, or they got into a fight over the snowflake production or something silly, and he said something to him, like along the lines of like that he was losing his touch or something. The Ice Queen like went nuts, and she started yelling at him, and you know, just thank goodness he can't hear, or he's hard of hearing. But anyway, so I don't know how the Sandman's gonna handle going up to the Ice Wand, but honestly, if he's gonna argue with Jack Frost, it's just not worth it, because like the Ice Queen can insult Jack Frost, but if somebody else insults Jack Frost, she goes crazy, and then, you know, when she gets annoyed, then she can be a bit of a problem. She's kind of like Medusa, you know, like Medusa's the same way. Medusa can be fine, but when she gets mad and she takes those sunglasses off, oh my god, the damage. Trying to switch somebody back from stone is not fun. It's a very complicated spell. But anyway, enough gossip. So now for the brown. The reason that I set this card out is because, as I said, we're trying to recreate like a spring scene, and I create like a kind of an artificial, like, enchanted forest. So I think it'd be really cool if we could grow some trees. Like, yeah, we could grow like some you know, tree, like they obviously wouldn't be real, but they could be like rendered to look like trees of life. Oh my goodness. And you know, I could actually see if I could use my it's an expensive spell to get the ingredients, but if I can get funding to do that, you know, I could grow some sugar plum trees. Oh my goodness, I know the sugar plum fairies would love that. All the fairies would love that. I mean, who doesn't love sugar plums, right? Oh my goodness. Yes, so I could grow some sugar plum trees. But I just think obviously for any trees, we're going to need some trunks. So it's easier just to use one color for the trunks, you know, the bark. So I was just wondering, which one do you think of these? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 colors again. We have potter's clay, we have nutshell, we have baked sienna, and molasses. So which one do you think? Yeah, I like this one too. It's just so dark and chocolatey and rich. I really like this one. The only thing I kind of worry about with it is because it does look so much like chocolate. I just kind of worry about that with the Tooth Fairy, because you know she's going to be in attendance. And she is actually the only one that doesn't like sugar plums, so she'll probably be turned off by the whole sugar plum tree thing. Because I'm telling you, like, she always goes on about cavities. It's like an obsession with her. Cavities this, cavities that, because everybody has cavities, and then she has to work so hard to take their teeth, and then, but she gets money off of the deal, so I don't really know why she complains so much, you know. But the other reason is that she complains about chocolate all the time, but she is completely addicted to chocolate. Like, you know the way the Ice Queen complains about Jack Frost, but then like is just jumping his bones every chance she gets. She's like completely addicted to him. Well, the Tooth Fairy is like that with chocolate. Like, she complains about cavities this, cavities that, but she is so after chocolate. Like, the Easter Bunny actually has had to ban her from his burrow, because right around Easter she tries to sneak in there and like she steals all of his chocolate. Like, she likes candy in general, like any kind of candy, but the chocolate addiction is really out of control with her at this point. So what I was thinking too, that what we might try to do, again, if I can get funding to do it, it might be really cool to make the bark on the trees, the sugar plum trees, edible. So maybe we could make the bark chocolate that guests can come up and actually like peel pieces away and eat it. And I know that would be really tempting for the sugar plum fairy. But sometimes I just get like so annoyed with her. She's so self-righteous that it would be kind of funny to see her at the party eating chocolate off the trees. And you know, but honestly, me and her get along too for the most part. So if she really had trouble staying away from it, I could give her a little spell that would just help her kill her appetite, you know, kill her appetite of chocolate. Yeah. But yeah. Okay, so now we are back to the last thing. So the black. And actually, we were just discussing Grimm, and this reminds me of his shroud. Yeah, I really hope he does come up from the Underworld. You know, he's wanted us to have a party in the Underworld for quite a while, and nobody really wants to do it. Well, the witches of the swamps are all for it, because they're like me. They know how much fun it is. A lot of people were surprised to hear that I go down there, but it's a lot of fun. You know, like the pixies and the fairies are absolutely horrified by the idea, because they don't like the dark. But, you know, the goblins and the dwarves were into it, and I know that Yeah, like your people, the trolls, you guys were into it, because you guys live in caves, and you know, like, the dark is not necessarily ugly. Like, your caves are beautiful with the crystals and everything. I love it. I love it. Well, the underworld is just like that, and, you know, I think if we had a party down there, we could get some of the species that are a little bit more wary, like the elves and the fairies and the pixies and the water sprouts. I think if they went down there, and the mermaids too, if they spent a couple of days on that, they'd love it. Yeah, so, I don't know, maybe around Hallows Eve, we'll see. But anyway, for now, for this party, I was thinking, remember I told you that during the day we're going to have the ground green, and we're going to have the sky blue with the clouds? Well, I was thinking, these galas last all day. You know how it goes. It's an all-day party, sometimes a 24-hour party. Or a 72-hour party if it gets really out of control, like that Valentine's Day 4 years ago. Oh my god. Do you remember that? Oh my god, if the Vice Squad hadn't come, we would have still been there. I'm telling you. Anyway, I was thinking that at night, maybe we should have an enchantment. So at night, the sky goes gradually from this light colored blue to this blue, to this blue, to this blue, and then finally into a black. So maybe if we had, you know, a black night sky, we could put rendering like stars and the moon in there. And I think that would be still pretty, don't you? I do. And I mean, I don't really think we need to do like gray gradients with the clouds or anything. But I think that a nice black edge would be very nice. So let's go through what we discussed. So we're going to have 6 different big vases full of flowers. And on 3 vases, we're going to have purple, pink, and red, specifically chocolate purple, pinkway pink, and flirt alert red. And then on the 3 others, we're going to have flirt alert red, construction zone, and buzz in. And then on the floor, we're going to have a nice dark green carpet. So we're probably going to go with Paradise of Greenery, but I will see if we can get a little mix of Clover Patch in there. Maybe we could have kind of a little bit of like a two-tone effect going on the carpet. That'd be cool. And then for the ceiling, we will have, during the day, it will be cornflower, and even into the night it can be cornflower. But then as the evening gets a little bit later, like maybe around midnight, around the witching hour, yeah, it starts to go from this shade of blue into this shade, into this shade, into this shade, until it is black. And then we can put stars on the ceiling. Maybe we can have like an aurora borealis kind of effect. And all of this going on inside of the ice castle. It would be so cool. Oh, and then we also discussed putting, rendering artificial trees with the bark being this color brown, and maybe actually make it enchanted, so it's chocolate that guests can eat. And it can be from sugar plum trees, and we'll make sure that the sugar plums are this ripe, beautiful purple shade. That's how you know that they're really ripe and really good. So good, I think that's a good plan. You know, and I guess we can hand out party favors like these. Like, hopefully Seamus doesn't get out of jail to see this one at the party. That's all we would need, him turning over tables. With our luck, he'd probably turn over a table and hit the Minotaur. Oh my goodness, if you hit the Minotaur, he gets so angry. He gets angrier than Medusa, I'm telling you. Well, anyway, but I figured, like, these should be some cute party favors, so we could have, like, the pink ring, the red ring, or Seamus thinks the orange ring, and then some of these beautiful gold coins. Yeah, I think that would just be really nice to do. I mean, I wouldn't use these, because these are obviously, you know, real currency, so I wouldn't use these. I would use the artificial ones. Oh yeah, and I'd make sure that, like, all the Kingsmen and the Rat King himself were aware that they were artificial. You know, I wouldn't give away real money at these events. We're already spending enough money on this. Yes, so I think that we did a really, really good job here. I think that we have had a really good plan laid out, and it seems to me like your eyes are doing a lot better, which I'm really happy about. Because yeah, I know that that's a whole unfortunate thing, and we will be aware when we have this party that the giants and the orcs are kept separated, so we don't get into those fights. Don't happen anymore. So yeah, so thank you very much for coming, and thank you for helping me figure out the color schemes. And do let me know if you hear anything else, because you know that I always love hearing the latest gossip from the Enchanted Realm. So yeah, so before it gets too late, we should probably head out of the Enchanted Forest and head back to the mountains, into the caves, and say hello to your entire family for me, and if you see any of your goblin neighbors as well. Yeah, because I do a lot of spells for them too. Okay, so as always, it's nice seeing you, and I hope you have a pleasant evening. Good night.